records. Okay, there it is. All right, we're good now. Okay, here we go, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being here and enjoying the following program, which begins in 3, 2... No, wait, let's let the computer do it.
3, 2, 1.
I hope you go camping and get by an angry moose.
You expect me to believe one man done this?
Greetings, Earth Lady. May I interest you in some guacamole? This is the morning stream.
Guten Tag, and welcome back to the morning stream. It's TMS for October 26th, 2021. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, man. Look, it was a crazy night. I was supposed to be up late playing a video game. I didn't do it.
You and me both?
Yeah. I went to bed, and very excited, though, because the Guardians of the Galaxy game is receiving pretty high reviews across the board. And
For sure.
Yeah, seems all right. You played for an hour and a half this morning.
I did, yeah. I had a great time. It was all tutorial mission, and but it introduces you to the play style. You know, you're always Peter Quill. But you tell your buddies, you tell Gamora, Groot, Drax, and Rocket to do things that help you out.
Right.
And one of the best things is what's called a huddle. And so you're in the middle of a fight and you're all losing. You huddle up and you have to figure out which motivating speech to give your team to
great.
Not only restore their health but also give them a damage boost.
That's fantastic. I understand that. So the combat system is a little bit like the remake of Final Fantasy VII, where you it's not like pausing to tell someone to do something, but time kind of slows down or something.
It slows down, yeah, exactly, which is cool.
That's really cool. I'm very excited. I'm just
good way to do it. Otherwise, you could just treat it as a pause and say, "Okay, catch my breath. You go over there."
Yeah, I mean, just hearing that Square made a really cool IP game based on Guardians just is a very happy feeling. So
it is, and it makes me feel better after that Avengers game that was such a disappointment.
Yeah,
such an unfortunate disappointment.
Bit of a grind, that game.
A lot, yes. God.
All right, well, I'll be playing that later. I got to get a film sack in at some point because we're doing film sack early this week.
Yeah,
we got quite the week coming up.
Freddy versus the Jason.
Yeah, you already watched it? Or no?
I did. Watched it last night.
Yeah.
And boy, is it garbage.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing, though.
Yeah.
Oh, not a spoiler. The weirdest thing is seeing a younger, because this is what, a 2002,
2001
2003?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there, early 2000s. So it's not that long ago, but a Jason Ritter without longer hair and any facial hair of any sort.
Oh.
And he looks like kind of a goober.
Does he look like John Ritter, his dad?
He doesn't. No.
Oh, okay.
No, he looks like standard young adult playing teenager in a horror movie.
He doesn't walk in on Chrissy while she's changing or anything like that.
He doesn't stumble and drop a bunch of plates and then manage to catch them all and fool Mr. Furley.
Oh, that's too bad. It's too bad. Sad to hear that. All right, I didn't even know Jason Ritter was in this, so this is.
I didn't either. So it was like, wait a minute, I know that guy, and there's a couple people like that. Kelly Rowland is in there, and there's a dude who plays a cop that you feel like you've seen in everything. And I looked him up, and it's like, yeah, okay, I didn't know this guy by name, but I've seen him in everything. Oh yeah, and lots of boobs.
Oh,
as referenced by the Parents Guide on IMDb, that is one of the funniest things I've ever read.
Oh yeah, that was great. We should read a couple of these. These are fantastic. I'm sure they'll come up again next week, but let's see. They're right. In fact, okay, here they are. We put them in Discord yesterday. Here it is. Brian said one of them is a young boy lies on a floor, bare buttocks. He is dead.
Yeah, no punctuation or anything. A young boy lies on the floor, bare buttocks. He is dead.
That's great. How about this one? Man
and
woman
make out for 5 seconds tops.
You think it's actual parents who write this, or just some idiot who writes this?
I don't know. I don't know who it is. There was one I didn't put in there that I'm going to pull up right now, and here we go. Let's see.
That's really funny. I love that.
It's such a treasure trove. I don't know what draws me to always look at those.
Yeah.
But it's because it's completely crowdsourced. It's completely, everybody getting to say what they want to describe the nudity in whatever way they want. All right, here we go. Nude woman is shown at night, period. Her bare breasts are visible, period. No other nudity but breasts! Double exclamation point.
Wow. Think of all the parents who are so thankful for this incredible bit of information they just received.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
There is tons of bare buttocks shown in this film from both women and men.
Ooh, both woman and men?
Both woman and men.
Wow, that's a lot of bare buttocks. I hate the term buttocks. Hate it.
Yeah, I do too. Yes.
Hate it. Just say
a young
butts.
man talks about having paid for sex. Oh, thanks for that warning.
Whoa. Was that Jason Ritter?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was a kid who was on... A kid who later was on, what was the show? It was one like, oh, yeah, okay, remember that guy. I'll pull it up.
MASH. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, I said later he was on the show. Chris Marquette, who was on Barry as Chris Lucado. Like, you'd recognize him when you see him.
Chris Marquette.
Oh,
yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, he's another one of these that's like super young actor in this thing for whatever reason, even though it was only 17 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
I don't like how long ago 2000 is now. It's really
that's
weird.
True. It feels longer. It sounds longer ago than it actually is.
Yeah. I don't like anything about it, to be honest. It's all very annoying to me. He's in that new Fugitive TV show. I don't know how that is.
Yeah, anyone watch that?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
I started watching something, got into it for the first episode, and then decided, well, I'm going to look and see, because it was recommended to me on Netflix, and then got into Rotten Tomatoes to see if it's good, and maybe I should have done that beforehand. I enjoyed the first episode, went to Rotten Tomatoes, like, yeah, about a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, oh, do I continue with this?
I've done that, yeah. And because you think your own instincts are good right then. You're like, oh, yeah, this seems fine. Let's get in. And then you find out the rest of the world hates it, and you're like, oh.
I know. I think I'm going to continue with it. I'm not sure it'll be a recommendal, but it's called Clickbait. And if there's anybody in the chat room who's watched it, it's got Zoe Kazan in it, who I really, really like.
I heard good things about that. I heard that was good.
Clickbait?
Yeah.
It's a great premise. It's a very, very cool premise.
But the Rotten Tomatoes is low, eh? Low tomatoes?
Yeah, let's see. Claire Gack says, it's terrible. Never seen it, though.
Oh.
Okay, thanks, Claire.
Great.
That helps
very
a lot.
helpful. Yeah, the Irish will always help you out of a pit if you're stuck. They'll get you. They'll fix you right up.
Sidian says, I think it falls off at the end. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep watching it because now I'm curious. I want to see how it ends. Oh, it's got that Adrian Griner, who was Vinny Chase on Entourage, the star that has the Entourage.
Oh, the kid. I never saw Entourage, but I know who you mean.
Yeah. You're lucky. Never saw Entourage.
Am I? I just never. Yeah. It never crossed my radar. You
didn't want to see a bunch of bros sponge off a dude and.
No.
Okay.
You had me at sponge off a dude. I don't want that. I don't
sponge off a dude.
Yeah.
Parents Guide. 3 men sponge off a dude. Bare buttocks are shown.
That's right. Red Fraggle mentions Dope Sick. I do want to see that, the Michael Keaton thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Been hearing great things about that. It's Michael Keaton. It's Michael effing Keaton.
Yeah, he's great, and I'm hearing good things about that.
Well, I got something good I'd like to read to you. Okay?
Oh, please do. Yes.
I am under the impression that I may have received the greatest spam message in the history of the medium.
Really? Right? Okay. Wow.
I received this over Twitter as a DM. My DMs are open, so people can, whoever wants to can just send me a message.
Slipped into your DMs, and what is slide? They slid into your DMs?
Yeah,
that's the phrase?
Yeah, this guy slid. I assume it's a guy, maybe a robot for all I know, but this entity slid into my DMs and said the greatest thing I've ever heard. Now, there's some people at home, and myself included, don't like talking about. I try to keep politics out of the main show now, like completely, if possible.
Sure.
This isn't
political.
political.
I mean, it is Tuesday, and
right.
All bets are off when jury's on.
That's true.
That's
true.
That's our carte blanche to say, yeah, whatever we talk about is open.
Yeah, but keep in mind that this is not a political thing I'm about to read. It just mentions a name that that is politically inciting. That's all. Okay, so it's fine. It's not a political post. I just want that to be clear. You don't have to mute or go away. But I am going to say
Let's
a name
see
here.
If I could guess what that name is.
I'm going to say that person's name, but that's all the reference there is. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Other than it adds to the weirdness because some of it doesn't make any sense. All right. So I get this thing from someone named Nico Cat, but most of the header is in a different language. Actually, it looks like 2 different languages. 2 different character types, Asian character types. And I'm not even sure which is which. Right. But anyway, it says this. Oh, you know what I need for this? I need some background music. Perfect for this. Hold on. Okay, let's do this right here. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, here we go.
Claire Gang points out that Nico is Japanese for cat, so it's kind of redundant. Nico
cat. Okay, wonderful. That makes it even weirder. Even weirder. You'd think this thing's going to be weird. This is even weirder. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this. Whoops. All right, I'm not going to do it in the cadence of Dear Martha, but this is the music we're using.
Okay.
Trump was brainwashed by Abe, so he cannot political task. Please cooperate me. Please cut down Trump's Twitter account. He is handled by Japanese Korean. If he do political task, our Earth will be the monkey planet. Japanese and Korean use Kodoku easily. This is a brainwash poison. Almost all famous people were brainwashed by poison already. Probably 100%. Everyone must know this fact. If you have a business, you must use email and telephone only. Don't meet with them personally. They are professional prisoner and poisoner and handler. Warning. For example, Japanese Yomiuri newspaper use this poison easily. Korean women too, in all caps. This is a love potion. He never escaped from her for life. For example, Miss T. Roke in nightclub. I'm reading it as is. Miss R. hold a PhD, and so on. They have many kind of brainwash potions. These potions' power are much very strong. Macron has been handled by Japanese and Korean too. Merkel has been handled by Japanese and Korean too. Probably Trudeau.
How can I get handled by Japanese?
Yeah, how do you get handled by Japanese and Korean? Probably Trudeau too. Probably Modi too.
Probably.
Yeah. Please tell the people who are completely unaware of this fact and spread SPRED. There's no way.
Okay, good.
Spread this fact all over world. Let's release human beings from the control of brainwash. It's pretty good, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's wow. They almost got some words in there in the right place in the right tense and
yeah, almost. Not quite, but almost.
Yeah, somebody missed conjunction junction. What's the function?
So I of course was a jerk about this and replied. Here, what did I say? I said because I wanted to see how far I could take it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So he sent the first one, and there's a whole second one, and I said, "I must know more. Tell me more." I said in all caps.
Okay, good.
And then he said, "Let's see. We must eradicate brainwash poison before everything else. We must eradicate brain poison, user master before anything else. If you cannot understand what I am saying, you have been brainwashed already." This person says. The people who have been brainwashed escape from this brainwash prison problem. The final thing he says, the people who have been brainwashed already cannot explain rationality when they escape from this brainwash poison's problem. And then I said, "What can I do?" in all caps.
Great. Oh, yeah. And now your screen name is getting shared among the group. Oh, we've got a live one. Good, excellent.
Yep.
Keep going.
Then he says, "I want you spread my DM all over world, except China. I have left this problem in China to Shuzhou and Okazan." already. Oh, Kazan is very nice, and I trust him. This is secret. I said, you must hurry. Tell me more before it's too late. And he says, I don't know you. I must spread this fact quickly. I said, burn it all down. He said, ? My English level is poor, but probably thank you. And that's where it ends. Bonk.
Nice. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. What a wonderful exchange.
You kind of Kit Boged with DMs.
Yeah, a little bit. That's a good way of putting it. But yeah, they whoever that is, I don't think you
strung along
are hearing this, but you're great. Whoever you are, you're great. And I appreciate the exchange. I'm sure eventually there would have been some sort of phishing attempt, or they were just
absolutely.
waiting. But I don't fall for that sort of thing.
By Dr. Johnson's Brainwash Tonic. It's available now
or later, Wash Brain Tonic, because the guy
That's
can't
right,
keep
Wash
it
Brain
straight.
Tonic, yes. At CVS.
Fantastic work. All right. Also, so last night at 4 o'clock in the morning, I was sleeping really good. I was like, man, I'm tired at like 10. I'm going to bed. I should play Guardians, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go to bed and
Exactly what I did.
Try to get a good night's sleep for once, because I haven't had many lately. Don't know why. There's been storms. Sure. It rained like a wild thing today. Also, that little bit of carpet's wet again, so now I'm starting to think it had something to do with the rain.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
now we're seeing a little pattern. So rain and you got a leak.
Makes me nervous. So we're gonna figure that out today. But what was my point? Oh, so at 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up to the following sound. Like that.
Okay.
And I kind of ignore it, thinking I was just in a weird dream. And about 10 minutes later, and it sounds like a phone, but in a certain pattern. Right. But I look over, and it's not my phone. My phone's not buzzing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
My iPad's not buzzing. Nothing's. I don't have anything to buzz over there.
Sure. But something's buzzing out loud.
Something's buzzing out loud. Tom Merritt hiding under the bed. And it's Kim hears it and goes, what is that? I go, I don't know. Is it your phone? She's like, no. And we hear it a third time, and we can't sleep now because it's weirding us out.
Yeah.
And I'm up like looking around. I got my flashlight. I'm like, what is making this sound? We never find it. We still don't know what was buzzing.
So you still don't know what it is? Oh, man.
No, but we're pretty sure it was like SOS type signal.
Oh, like
Yes. Yes. And we had one of those the day we had the earthquake. And I don't remember. I think it was our phones, though, that did it. Yeah. But in this case, neither of our phones were doing it. So it's entirely possible I'm hearing Carter's phone, which is on a table somewhere, which is reverberating in such a way it sounds like it's in the room. Or maybe I'm hearing something outside. I don't know. But all I know is because of this, I was up all night. I couldn't go back to sleep because I was freaking out. And it sounded like SOS Morse code style code.
Right.
And it was pouring rain during this. Like we're getting whatever that monsoon that hit California is hitting us now. It's coming over here.
Oh yeah, and we're supposed to get it by the end of the week.
Yeah, you'll be getting it too. We'll try to take the brunt if we can help it.
Please do. Yeah, use up as much of it as you can before it comes over the mountains to us, please.
Yeah, I'll do all I can to suck the wind out.
Maybe it was Morse code telling you that Black Bart's coming over the hill in the next train, and
maybe.
Gather the troops.
Part of me was like, well, okay, if it's for the storm, maybe that would make sense. There'd be some kind of standard warning for storm watch.
Right. The National Weather Service has issued a thunderstorm warning or something like that.
Yeah, but normally that would come to my phone. My phone has no notifications of that. It also wasn't buzzing when I'm hearing the buzzing, and her phone wasn't either. And it was in that rhythmic kind of thing. And I'm out of it. I don't have an answer. I don't know what to even think about it.
It definitely sounded like it was in the room.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Now, I'm fully aware that sound can like throw itself depending on, frequency, and there's a lot of things it could be. It could be outside for all I know, because I got a window right there next to me, and there could have been a neighbor being weird. I don't know. But it did absolutely sound like it was coming not just from the room, but from somewhere on my side of the bed.
Did Nick Fury at some point give you a secret pager that to use in an emergency?
No, is that, by the way, would that have been a scene from Captain Marvel?
Yeah, that'd be a scene from a movie you haven't seen.
Yeah,
That's right. Yes.
I knew it was Marvel though, because that was the whole
Well, you see it at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah.
That pager.
Yeah, when they're getting dusted, it's right there. So I made an assumption, but yes, I still have that thing of shame. I need to watch it. But anyway, I don't know what it was. I don't like it. And then when we come down and find a little dampness down here, I'm all kinds of paranoid.
Yeah.
Ah! All right. There's that story.
That's weird. I had a less weird day. I mean, I slept really well. I was going to do the Guardians thing last night myself, but yesterday did a 30 minutes in front of the fitness Apple TV Plus thing, Fitness Plus, whatever they call it, and then immediately decided, oh, I'm exhausted from doing that. I'm going to go outside and deal with the leaves because we've had some wind. Our tree is maybe has about a quarter of its leaves still on there, and the rest of them are all on our grass.
Sure.
I thought, all right, I'll go deal with that now. And I decided to do something that the crazy neighbor Dave had done, and he swears by it, and I think that can't be the most efficient way to do it. So what he does, and what I did yesterday, is I take our leaf blower, I start at one end of the lawn, and then I go back and forth and like basically move all the leaves onto the sidewalk and then the street.
Oh. Okay.
Then I get out the lawnmower and put a bag attachment on the back of it and go back and forth over the pile of leaves.
And vacuum the leaves, basically.
And vacuum the leaves, right? Like, because they're all going in the bag. And then when that thing fills up, dump it in a garbage bag, keep doing that, and then keep blowing it back into a little central circle or a central little pile until all that's left on the street is just a little bit of leaf dust.
Yeah.
Now, the whole process took about an hour, and I think I could have raked them and put them into a bag a lot quicker. Here's where things were way more efficient. And Bobby asks, why not just run them over the yard? Because I don't want those little crunched up leaf pieces that don't go into the bag in the lawn, causing there's like a thing that if you get too much of that in your lawn, it mats the grass down when the snow comes and the rain comes, and mats that, like, it keeps the grass from going the right way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We do that very thing.
I wondered that myself, if we could do that.
Yeah, we literally do that. We mow them up like we're mowing. We raise the blade some, so we're not just like wrecking the whatever length we are on the lawn, but we just basically vacuum it up that way. And as far as I know, we've never had any problems. But I was also curious about that.
We had basically we did that one year, right, where we just mowed it and all the leaf pieces went back in, and then we ended up having to dethatch the lawn the following spring because all that stuff matted the grass down to the point where it grew and kind of retangled itself.
So wait, did you use a bag, or you guys just mow and let the pieces stay, like just mulch?
We used a bag, like when we did the backyard this last time. We used the bag.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and people are like, oh yeah, no, it's the leaves are good for the grass. They are to some degree, but not all the leaves.
Not in volume. Yeah.
Some leaves and some leaf crunchings are fine, but the year that we decided we would just mow the lawn and get the leaf pieces that way, we ended up having to thatch the next year. We never did that again. We haven't had to dethatch or is it just thatching or is it dethatching?
Anyway, something. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Dethatching.
Yeah. Oh, ichor. Yeah. Grass needs sun. Leaves block sun. That's a good way to put it.
Sure.
So anyway, I'm not sure if it's the most efficient way to do things. It's the way we decided to try it. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but boy, it is satisfying. It's like one of those YouTube videos of satisfying things to watch.
Oh yeah.
And the leaf blower, just moving a whole wall of leaves towards the street.
Ooh,
very, very satisfying.
You should have moved them all to Dave's yard. That's what you should have done. Just dump right into Dave's yard. That's what
I could have. Well, and I'm looking at it right now. The wind's blowing, and our lawn is getting covered with leaves, and it's blowing from his tree.
It's all coming from it. Yeah. That's the other problem is you do this, and then you think, all right, I think that might be the last big one, and then a big wind thing comes through, and now you're all covered in leaves again. You got to do it all over again.
That's right. His tree is a little bit healthier than ours, and he still has, I would say, half of his tree still has leaves on it. some green. A lot of them are yellow, and then there's a lot on the ground. But I think we're going to be doing this a few more times. Maybe he and I just need to get together and do it simultaneously. Get it both of our yards out to the street, and then that's probably where the efficiency comes. But here's the best part: is now I have garbage bags that are like 80 pounds because they are all the most compressed, tiniest leaf pieces, as opposed to
they're heavy, they're dense.
They are dense, man.
Yeah, because you can fit so
them.
much more in there now, you know? Yeah. That's great. You ever, I feel this temptation almost every time I look at my yard. But I am tempted every year after a bunch of dealing with grass in the late summer and trying to conserve water and have yellow splotches where the water's not reaching and all that. And then you got leaves to deal with in the fall and all that. And then the winter comes and you're like, man, that snow really sat in that corner for too long and that sort of thing. Every year I go, maybe we should just zero-scape this shit. You know? Just go full like we live in Phoenix. Just tear out all the grass and make some nice rock garden-y stuff with maybe some flower beds to break things up, put some steps in there. Like, just go full zero-scape. You ever want to do that? You want to just like...
I've thought about that. And we took out a lot of our lawn to put in a retaining wall, and Tina's got some plants in there. So a good quarter of our lawn now is in a retaining wall with some of Tina's plants and flowers in it. It goes around our tree. And that helped a lot with like how much mowing and stuff we had to do.
Can Dave grow his own weed? Can he do his own? Because you have isn't the rule in Arizona, Colorado that weed's legal recreationally and medicinally, but isn't there also a thing that says you can grow like 4 plants yourself or something?
Yeah, there's an amount you can grow. I don't think he's growing any this year. He was last summer. He was growing his own.
Nice.
And you have a limit on how much you can grow, and I think the rule is you also can't sell it unless you have a license to sell it.
That makes sense. You probably couldn't sell it. Yeah. Well,
but
it just seems like something Dave would do.
Oh yeah. No, it is something he has done and probably will do again.
Having only hung out with the man twice, I think, at the BlizzCon one time, and then dinner there.
Forgot about BlizzCon. Yeah,
he showed up. He was there for some other conference or something. There was something going on.
Yes, right? Yeah, they had a conference going next door at the Marriott next door to the to BlizzCon.
He's walking around that place looking at us and all that was going on with BlizzCon like he thought it was just a bunch of aliens, man. That was hilarious.
He did. It was such a great experience to like watch him see a world that's completely normal and run of the mill to us, and he's like, there's some dude dressed like an orc and a mage over there, except he didn't call them orcs and mages. It was like ogres and magic women or something like that.
Exactly. Well, yards, man, they're a pain in the ass is the point.
Yards are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Leninade says, yard maintenance is an imposition by people. Let's see. I can't read it because this moved. Hold on. There it is. In power requiring residents to beautify for the sake of homogeny. It's literally a keeping up with the Johnsons. Excuse me. Jones
As
is
one of the Johnsons.
It's the Joneses, okay? Not the Johnsons. It's keeping up with the Joneses. Let's get our idioms straight here. I take offense to anyone trying to keep up with us because right now our lawn is kind of brown, shitty looking. So,
yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I appreciate Leninade more and more in the chat room because he, no matter what opinion we have, he always is there to just show the differing opinion, the opposite opinion,
to come from the other side. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, yes. I don't know why. Dice Tomato.
I mean, I could say, oh, I love Leninade 3000. He'd return back and say, no, you don't. He's a puppet of the political awareness.
He's a puppet of the leftists. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. No.
And Sam Jane, I miss those days. Like when I mean, we have a small yard now, so it's not as big a deal as it used to be, but gosh dang it, dude. Yard stuff.
Sam, for the listeners, Sam Jane just said, I live in an apartment, no lawn to look after.
Yeah.
It's true.
Which is nice. Quick email from Brian from Denver. Not you, a different Brian.
Not me. Ooh, there's another one of us?
There's another Brian in Denver. It says, hi, Scott. Apologies if you've already gotten feedback on this. You can read the wiki on this, but basically the CGI was added later. He's talking about me and my review, my recommendal, rather, of the Thing remake or prequel.
Oh, right. Okay. Right, the Thing prequel thing.
Yeah, and I was talking about how the CGI was bad, but when they would do practical stuff, it looked great. And why was that a problem? Well, it turns out they basically added the CGI later. Says, I'm not sure if it was a producer, the studio, or whatever, but that was a bad decision. Also, the very end was changed from the original idea. The sad part is that Amalgamated Dynamics, Creature Shop run by Tom Woodruff and Alec Guinness, former Stan Winston guys, that's who they are, created a bunch of amazing practical effects for the movie. You can probably find some pics online. I'll go one better. Somebody sent me a whole YouTube video reel of the original effects that were in the thing, and they're cool, man. Like, who? Oh, you know, TV's Travis sent me that. It was your video, Travis. It's this really cool look at the practical effects. So there's this creature that's like a two-headed person. It's like merged, and they're crawling on their back, like backwards toward you. And the CG on it looked like a video game and just did not look good.
Sure.
The practical effects that they showed in the video that I saw that was that TV's Travis sent me was awesome. Like, such a cool looking practical effect of those two guys and their heads mushed together. And I can't believe they went to all that expense and didn't freaking use it. So yeah, Brian from Denver's right. And,
I think, regular practical effects sometimes are just so much cooler and look so much more visceral and real.
Yeah,
than,
just use
than
if
CGI.
they're good, they're good. So use them. I don't know why they felt like they had to do the CG stuff. It makes me sad. All right, that's all she wrote, man. We had a lot to talk about this morning. So it's time for us to get to the important stuff. That is today's morning news. It is the news, and it's brought to you by...
Brought to you by this place Scott wants to tell us about. Hey, Scott, tell me more about the Hall Pass.
All right, so there's this place down in the Gateway Mall, outdoor mall thing downtown Salt Lake City, right by the old Grand Station, train station thing, called Hall Pass. And I hadn't heard of it. My wife had found it with some friend of hers, or maybe it was my son. I don't remember because he lives down there now. But anyway, it first sounds bad because you're like, Hall Pass, what is it? Oh, it's like a food court. And I'm already like, I can go to any food court and get Chick-fil-A or freaking, free samples at the Chinese Walk or whatever. Doesn't sound good, right? Food courts, blah, generally.
Yeah. Right, yes.
But this Hall Pass thing, which is down in the base of this right below the movie theater, is this big space, and it's a giant collection of, like, actual good restaurants. Like, good
a dining
food.
hall.
Yeah. So, like, one place had swordfish was their thing of the day. The thing next to it were these insane chicken tender things. I didn't even know how to describe these. They were so freaking good. And it was like $10. It was a little pricier than what you expect, but amazing chicken tenders. The place next to that had lobster rolls, which are kind of to die for. It was amazing. So all I'm saying is if you live in SLC and you're downtown, you need a quick place to go, they still treat it like a food court, except all the tables are carved out of wood. And it's like fancy. But they have any kind of food you'd want in there. You can pick and match whatever you want. They give you a little buzzer. You go sit down. When it buzzes, you go get your food. And then you eat it like you're in a mall food court, sort of. But it's really clean and nice and fancied up. And I was blown away by this.
So this is your first the first dining hall you've been to.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got like 6 of them in Colorado. I took my cousins to one Saturday night called Milk Market here in Denver. Yeah. And I'm looking at the restaurants. It's funny. Every single dining hall I've ever seen has a hot chicken place, a Nashville hot chicken place.
Yeah, that's the rule, right? You got to do
this
that.
One's got Blaze of Thunder. It must be a rule. We had a bao place in mine. Mine had a poke bowl, which is what I ended up having. Tina had pasta. But it's such a great, so much better than a food court as far as like the food quality is way better, and just the experience overall doesn't feel like you're in a big cafeteria with a Sbarro and an Orange Julius and
That's you said it really well. It's oh, there it is, Blazing Thunder. It's a Nashville hot chicken place.
Yeah.
They have 2 bars as well, so you got to be 21 to be in parts of this place, and it was so cool. I didn't know that was a thing. This is new to me.
That's cool. Yeah, there's one that they're working on that is a mile north of us, and I can't wait for it to open up and go up there for lunch. But they have been cropping up like crazy. There's one over here in Golden. There's one in Edgewater where I lived as a kid. Denver is And they're, at least the one I took my cousins to, is all owned by one guy, Bonino Concepts, or it's this guy named Frank Bonino, who's kind of a local quote unquote celebrity chef. He's had a bunch of really good restaurants in Denver, individual restaurants. And so here they just kind of got them all together, and
that's great. So he organized it, or maybe
he organized it. And it's funny, the first time we went there, it was me and Crazy Neighbor, and we came in from another part that we thought was part of the same restaurant group, but apparently was not. And we brought our drink in there, and this guy comes up and says, "Oh, you can't bring your alcohol from the restaurant, from the hotel into here." And then he just reached over behind the bar of one place, grabbed one of their glasses, poured our drinks from our glasses into their glasses. You're all set. Then he walks away, and Dave says, "You know that was Frank Bonino."
Oh, no way.
Like,
that's great.
Really? Yeah.
That's great. That's very cool, actually. So this logo for this place looks like HAMPASS.
It does, or HAMPASS or something.
HAMPASS.
That does not say HAMPASS to me, and I don't know why
the two L's are upside down. I don't know why they did it that way. It's
why not
weird.
flip the L's? You still get that same box look.
Yeah, like a hall. It still works, right? I don't know
still
why they
works.
did that. It says it either says HAMPASS or hard pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah. My only complaint about it. Otherwise, that stuff is rad, and I feel like a noob not knowing this was a trend, but I really like it.
Great. They're great. Yeah.
Anyway, go check it out, you guys. HAMPASS. Or sorry, Hall Pass.
HAMPASS. Yeah.
I don't even know why it's called Hall Pass. It's a weird.
Because it's a dining hall.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
So when I think dining hall, I think of some ancient ass, like, Friars Club freaking buffet.
Right, or like something your guild goes to in the current MMO you're playing. Oh, we need to go. Let's meet at the dining hall before our adventuring.
Yeah, it's a weird thing you don't hear
dining
very
hall.
often.
It's basically the new food court, the new and better improved food court.
Hell of a lot better than any food court I've been to.
For sure.
All right, we got a very confused governor in the news.
Oh, no.
Governor Mike Parson, Missouri governor. He's a Republican Missouri governor. Says looking at web pages HTML is criminal hacking. Hey, you guys, don't view source. You might be criminally hacking.
Oh, no.
Governor Mike Parson is sick and tired of all these sophisticated, no-good hackers, and he's not going to take it anymore. It's too bad that the Missouri governor has no idea what he's talking about. During a Thursday press conference, the confused elected official lashed out at a journalist who reported a vulnerability in the official Department of Elementary and Secondary Schools website. The reporter notably waited until officials fixed the error before publishing the story. The flaw: the website apparently included teachers' social security numbers in the HTML code.
Oops.
So just raw text. Pure text, not, none of this is encrypted. We're talking about HTML. HTML is the final destination, is the final output of what you're doing. Any kind of code you're doing behind the scenes, whatever you're eventually pushing out is HTML. If they put those card numbers, those social security numbers somehow in there, whether just manually or otherwise dynamically generated, once it's HTML, you view it everywhere from everything. That's the rule. That's how it works.
View source, and you can see it all.
It's not hard to do. Anyway, during a press conference, in this press conference, he says, there's no private information, though no private information was clearly visible nor searchable on any of these web pages, the newspapers found that teachers' social security numbers were contained in the HTML source code in the pages involved, said the St.
They also found that I used Open Sans as my headline font. How did they do that? These monsters!
It said the newspaper was the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You go to that? You ever been there?
I've been there. Yeah, totally been there.
Nice.
Yep, they were a customer. I didn't install there.
Did you I don't know, screw
I
around
didn't go up
with
the Gateway Arch that trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you didn't screw around with their HTML code to include a bunch of social security numbers.
Oh, I totally did. Yeah. Where do you think all these things ended up? Driver's license numbers, mother's maiden names. Sure.
Why not? All right. It says here. Let's see. Whoops, I lost my place. There we go. The state is committing to bringing to justice anyone who hacked our system and anyone who aided or encouraged them to do so, in accordance with what Missouri laws allowed and requires, wrote Parson. He's very upset that somebody viewed source, which anyone can do from any browser anywhere. Exactly.
Maybe the problem is coming from inside the house.
And before you send your emails, this guy could have been a Democrat, a Green Party member. I don't care what he is. This is dumb as shit. It has nothing to do with his political affiliation. He's just dumb. Okay? Yep. All politicians are dumb. This one in particular is being very dumb. He just happens to be a Republican. Keep your emails to yourselves. It's not a biased article. All right.
Yes.
A man, not the same man, different man, but a man was covered in poop after a passing plane dumped toilet waste on his backyard.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This has got to be your worst fear.
It's not my worst fear, but because I don't think the likelihood is high, but it is on. It's got to be on the list of like the top 15 things you never want to have done to you. You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be that.
I'd put it in the top 5.
Well, that's pretty good.
It's up there. I'm trying to think of what would be worse.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on, let me think.
I mean, other than things that cause pain or death, rule those out. This is like, it's way up there.
Yeah. Real quick correction here. Diddy Does Game says not dumb, just uneducated, saying that about the governor. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Maybe before you do your big. Here's what makes him dumb.
Do you work? Are you over there in the St. Louis government system there, Diddy?
And I'm not giving him any heat. What I'm saying is, here's what makes him dumb, as opposed to just simply uneducated. Uneducated is not knowing what a diner hall is until Brian tells me, and then I go, oh, interesting. Well, now from now on, I'll know. Yeah. What's dumb is a governor who has all the resources in the world to find out how this stuff really works, to just go ahead and jump to putting the letter out anyway, saying all this dumb shit without ever checking any of it. That's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not knowing what HTML is and how it works, that's uneducated. Following through with your dumb email or your dumb statement, that's dumb. That's what I'm saying. That's the dumb part.
Yes. Standing under the flight path of a United 757 on its way to Poop Town is dumb.
That's right.
That's dumb.
Yes. And doubling down is dumb. That's the other one that's dumb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, this guy, he's in was enjoying the sun in his backyard in Windsor. That's southeast England there.
Okay, sure.
When a passing plane dropped a toilet waste ball chunk unit on him and his garden furniture, local counselor said.
It dumped it on me and my garden furniture.
Garden furniture. The unfortunate incident, which a plane discharged sewage, took place in July, according to the minutes read at the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead's most recent aviation forum. Jeez. The whole garden was splattered in a very unpleasant way, said Karen Davis.
Yes. As opposed to splattered in a very pleasant way.
He was out in his garden at the time, and it was really horrible experience, says the local lawmaker. The whole garden umbrellas, and him were covered in poop, Davies explained. It's absolutely dreadful, she said during the meeting. Ugh. So there were several incidents during the year where frozen sewage was dropped along flight routes in Windsor on the path to London's Heathrow Airport, which is about 8 miles away from the historic town. I can say with 100% accuracy, I have never contributed to any frozen waste being dropped from a plane. Not once. I don't pee on planes. I don't poop on planes. It's never happened. I went to Japan and didn't pee or poo for 12 hours.
Even on those longer flights?
Nope. I locked up like camping mode Joe, man. I didn't have to go at all.
Wow.
I was no way I was going on that plane. Oh my gosh. Not a chance. And then as soon as I got
hate
there,
pooping on a plane just because those rooms are so small, but I don't mind peeing on a plane. I'll pee on a plane all day long.
When I got to Hong Kong.
It's about the roomiest seat in the whole aircraft, unless you're the pilot.
That's right. You can really lean back in there.
Yeah.
I know. As soon as I got to Hong Kong, I wrecked some hotel bathroom, but up till then, I wasn't going. All right. There's that story. We got time for one more, it looks like.
Sometimes I just drive to the airport, book a flight just to go on and pee on the plane, and then get back off and back down the jetway and go home.
Yeah. That's the kind of peer Brian is. He's happy to use your plane for whatever.
Sometimes I get on top of the plane and pee on it.
Yeah. Best place to do it. Space tourism company has canceled its launch to space because it couldn't find any passengers who wanted to go tour space.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was probably the price tag more than people who didn't want to go to space.
Yeah, because I want to go to space, but I don't want to pay that kind of money.
Yeah.
So I know that that's probably it. Anyway, it says, in what could be a serious reality check for the Buzzfield space tourism industry, its most established player says it had to cancel its upcoming launch with SpaceX because it couldn't find anybody to go. Basically, they weren't sufficiently wealthy. The mission was marketed to a large number of our prospective customers, but ultimately the mix of price, timing, and experience wasn't right at that particular time, and our contract with SpaceX expired. Company spokesman Tracy Tern told the Space News, "We hope to be revisiting the offering in the future." If that's your whole business, you're not having business, right?
Yeah. Adjust your prices.
Sufficiently wealthy. Jeez, I hate that term. That's a horrible term. Are you sufficiently wealthy? Oh, good. You can go to space.
You're not sufficiently wealthy? Oh, then you can't go to space.
No. Freaking forget it. Final story. Nightmare on Elm Street house listed for $3.5 million.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Are you sufficiently wealthy for that?
Does it still have bars on the windows?
Let's see. There's a picture.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
Does the front door have a window that's big enough to pull in a large woman? Suck in a large woman?
Does the phone still have a tongue that comes out of it? Let's see.
Can you look at Johnny Depp from across the street with binoculars?
No kidding. I always forget he's in that until you remind me.
Yeah.
There's the house. It looks like it's changed some.
It has, totally. I would not recognize this as the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
No. It says the Los Angeles home from the 1984 movie A Nightmare on Elm Street has been listed for sale in time for Halloween with an asking price of $3.5 million. The 3-bedroom Spalding Square house, listed in Realty, I don't care about them, was purchased previously for $2.1 million in 2013 by Hustlers director Lauren Scafari. Wait, Hustlers director?
Yeah, the movie with Cardi B and J-Lo and...
Oh, a thing I've never seen, probably never will see. That.
Okay.
I don't think. I'm not saying it's bad. I can't imagine a night where I'm like, you know what I'm in the mood for? Hustlers.
It was, we watched it because it was nominated.
Did it win something?
Sorry. I dropped the paper of my Splenda packet into my coffee, and I had to find something to fish it out with, and the best I could do was a magic wand.
How did it go? Did it go?
It went well.
Wow.
I said abracadabra, and it came out.
A bunch of flowers didn't go right into your coffee, and
now there's a rabbit in there.
Oh shit!
Dang it! Stupid magic wand.
So Hustlers wasn't a bad. I don't know anything about it.
It was good. It was basically about a stripper who teaches a newbie the ins and outs of the stripper industry, including the crime behind it and that sort of thing.
And Cardi B was a stripper, or what was she doing there?
Cardi B was a stripper. She's barely in it. I mean, she's in there for, an eighth of the movie. It's really about J-Lo and this other woman.
She showed up just in time to go, Coronavirus! She's famous for yelling that for some reason.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it's from. She had some rant, and they captured her yelling coronavirus, and now it gets used in like music mixes and TikTok videos.
Well, and then Nicki Minaj did the whole my cousin's husband's boyfriend's babysitter blew at his testicles from the vaccine.
Yeah, didn't that turn out? I thought that turned out to be some STD or something, didn't it?
Well, it certainly wasn't a vaccine. Probably was something like that.
Yeah.
If there were even testicles at all.
Yeah, if there were ever a pair of nuts, we'll never know.
Right. Exactly.
Anyway, this thing's 3 bedrooms, very nice, 2-story house, served as protagonist Nancy Thompson's home in Wes Craven's classic slasher film, and was the location of the character's final showdown with the iconic serial killer Frederick Krueger himself. It's so much fun bringing this house to market during a historic real estate inventory shortage, says listing agent. That annoys me. That really annoys me. Anyway,
that house appears, whether it's the real one or not, does appear in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder what this house was worth in '84. They don't say.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe $100,000, because that's how things have changed. They've changed a lot in that amount of time.
Yeah.
All right, that's the news, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, Justin Robert Young will be here, and
Ooh,
you guys are gonna be mad because it's Dune related, but I don't care. We're talking about Dune.
Reset the counter, everybody.
Yep, that'll be a very politically charged conversation about Dune. So that'll be soon, right after this song Brian has brung that he will now play for us. Brian, what are you playing there?
Yeah, well, three brothers, Gary, Ryan, and Ross, bass vocals, guitar vocals, and drums, respectively, are coming back with another album from their band, The Cribs. You think it would be their last name, but it's not. Their last name is Jarman. Anyway,
right.
They're releasing two brand new singles on an EP. The first of which is the new single we're going to be playing here. These guys have such a solid 80s sound. They're kind of like probably like Buzzcocks or Husker Du, like more on that side of things of the new wave spectrum. This is The Cribs and their brand new single, The Day I Got Lost Again.
All aluminum comes from factories such as this one and begins its life as a frothy mixture of goat's milk and cocoa powder.
I ran over some guy!
How about a booby? You know the guy's got talent. This is the Morning Stream.
All right, we returned back to the grotto known as TMS. Hey, Brian, that song again was...
I'm fishing. I'm cleaning the grotto. This is that was The Cribs with the brand new single, The Day I Got Lost Again.
Lovely. Sounds all right to me.
Yeah.
You said Jarman? Is it Garmin or Jarman? German?
Jarman. The Jarman brothers.
The Jarman brothers with a J.
Jarman with a J.
Gotcha.
Jarman.
All right, like GIF and JIF. It's obvious. It's got a J.
That's
It's
right.
Jarman.
Yes, this one's obvious.
Yeah.
Is the way to pronounce it.
Should be. All right, check this out, everyone.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young joining us from his beautiful studio in downtown. It's probably not downtown. Austin, Texas. It's
Uptown Austin, Texas.
Not far. No, South Austin. It's in
right.
South.
All right,
Okay.
South Austin, right? The place you want to be, I say.
How far are you from the closest underground records?
Do you know where that is?
I don't know, brother. Yeah, I'll text you my address. You tell me.
Records. What are records?
Yeah,
You mean people go to a place to buy records?
Yeah,
what
are records?
Yeah, man.
All right, fine.
Justin's had all his expunged. Don't worry.
How close are you to the nearest Torchies? That's probably a better.
Oh, Torchies.
Oh, we are betwixt two Torchies.
Whoa.
Betwixt two Torchies.
We are near their location one of their locations on South Lamar, and then another one that's a little bit closer to it.
It's great. Okay. It's great having you here so soon after your premiere as Duke Leto in the film.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Dune, for whatever you think of it, it's been great for my self-confidence.
Yeah, I bet it has. Look at you, man.
Everybody's saying, you're old hunky Oscar Isaac. And I'm like, all right, I'm with that.
I mean, that's the first thing my wife said. We're watching it. We got friends over. We had chilly night and made a big deal out of it and had it up there on the big screen. And they get to the graveyard place where they're talking, him and his son, and Kim goes, "Oh my gosh, that's Justin." And I went, "Oh my gosh, you're right. It totally is Justin." And sure enough, kind of spitting image for Oscar Isaac in this thing. Oscar Robert Isaac, we now call him.
Yeah, it does better for people who look like Justin than it does for bald fat guys. Unfortunately,
just so you know, Ibit, in the same weekend that everybody's sending me like all these big heroic shots of Oscar Isaac, and then also he's been doing a lot of press. There's also another round of him being like casual and looking cool. I also got a picture of somebody. Apparently, I'm the spinning image of somebody on a box of Depends. New Depends. So,
wow.
Nice. All right, good. Well, there's balance. There's balance in the universe.
Yeah. Well, Brian, you were great as Baron Harkonnen as well. I thought you really
I
killed
was, and it was great is that I got to eat as much as I want during the shoot.
Yeah, you could tell.
More Pikachu Oreos, please.
All right. Well, aside from that, we are actually going to talk a little bit about Dune, but not maybe in the way people think. No, this isn't going to be a big political discussion or anything. But as it turns out, Justin really enjoyed the movie. So did we. I really enjoyed it, like a lot.
All right, Dune versus Mad Max, where you at?
I'm right there together. They're up on the same shelf hanging out.
No, only one can live.
That's what people say.
Only one.
That's what people keep saying.
You decide whether or not one lives or both dies.
Wow.
Right now.
I can't do that.
That's Mary Kill. Mad Max, Waterworld, and Dune.
You got to put Blade Runner 2049 in there. I love that movie too.
Oh, that's the third. I'm sorry. Blade Runner 2049, Dune, and
also, how disrespectful to Mad Max that you didn't even give it like a warming period with Dune.
I mean,
like that you're not even like I don't know. I gotta wait 6 months because you've been talking about Mad Max for however long since it came out. Like you're like, really? Day one?
I mean, all right, look, if
I didn't even say, I think we need to see other movies is the problem.
If you said to me, all right, if you said to me, Scott, only one can survive.
Yeah.
You're taking the Christ knife, or however you say it, to the neck of the other.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, these are all hanging out in the same balcony, these three movies. They're my genre movies of the last 20 years. I love them.
No, I'm not putting Waterworld in there. I'm putting just these two.
I'm saying just these two. I'm saying these two, well, and I like Blade Runner just as much. But let's just say it's these two. They're the only two that exist in this vacuum.
I haven't heard you talk about Blade Runner.
I love Blade Runner, dude. Blade Runner 25. You missed those episodes because I wouldn't shut up about it. I love that movie.
Okay. Well, nobody has Scott loves Blade Runner memes.
No, exactly. This is not a counter for resetting anytime Blade Runner's brought
up. All right, if I had to slit the throat of one in favor of the other.
Dune versus Mad Max.
Probably Dune gets the knife. I love it.
I mean, for now. I think that's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
The right way to say it is for now. Look, in 6 months, you'll see how much you still think of Dune because you never stop thinking about Mad Max. So this is a high bar to clear. It's not an insult to Dune.
No, I get that. Plus, if this thing gets a second part, which is insane to me that it's not greenlit, which is kind of part of our discussion today. That may change things too, because that's more like this is a first half of a full experience. And
I mean, depending on how deep they want to go, the first toenail of a gigantic body.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I ended up starting to read the first book again yesterday. I got in the tub and read about 12 pages of Dune.
Now that's a mental picture.
Forgot how much I forgot how much I liked that series. I read it when I was way young. I was like 15 or 16.
Dune
in the tub.
Dune in the tub.
Remember when I asked to borrow your copy of Dune? I'm going to go ahead and cancel that request.
Well, it's a digital Kindle copy. You'll be fine. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
Remember that time I asked to borrow your Kindle? I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's the device you want to avoid at this point. But anyway, what do we know? Do you think that's weird, Justin, that this thing had a really great weekend, especially considering that we're still sort of in this weird movie time. It's showing at home too. All that it did real well. Why? How can you put part one on the thing and not know that you're not even locked for a 2? That seems crazy.
I hated that element of it. Like the fact that it shows up and it's part 1 and you're like, oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah. This was not marketed as Dune part 1.
No. Oh, really? You didn't know that ahead of time?
I knew it, but I knew it, but it wasn't marketed that way. You're right. I did know it though. And it was in
Dune
articles
part
and stuff.
1. It wasn't called Dune.
It wasn't called Dune part 1. Right.
Yeah. On the beginning part. It wasn't Dune Welcome to Arrakis. it was Dune. And so it's like, okay, sure. But to then on the title card say Dune Part 1, I think you need to, because otherwise it would lead people with a sour taste in their mouth. And I do think that for some folks that have no idea what this story is, and granted, look, we're talking to a geek audience here, so I might even I might be the asshole for not knowing it walking in. But to average people, to normies, it's really annoying that if they like this movie, that the next one might not come for 3 years.
Yeah,
Tina had no idea. So when that title card appeared and we were watching this, she's like, "Oh, this is part 1. When's part 2 coming out?" I don't know.
No idea.
Nobody knows, and that's what's frustrating is that Warner Brothers had, and Legendary Pictures had a year extra time.
Yeah.
To say, you want to know what? We're just going to have to sack up and say that we're going through with this, even though the movie business is unsteady. What we're going to need coming out of it are hits and franchises. Well, guess what? They got one. Big, honking, science fiction, hot cast, gigantic world science fiction franchise, like what people are begging for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now just say we're gonna get another one, and say we're gonna get another one fast, because like that. What's bothersome is that God knows where, even with the cast that would theoretically be in a part 2, although who knows, in a world where getting space high lets you conquer time, how many actors are and aren't going to be involved in another movie.
Yeah.
But like, that's a hard cast to wrangle. Timothée Chalamet himself, Zendaya herself is really, really hard to wrangle. And if they're going to be the key elements of a part 2, what are you waiting for? I mean, I assume that they have conversations that are ongoing about this, but like, it doesn't bode well that all the heat that will be generated from this, is going to be God knows where in 3 years.
You know what's the only thing worse than slapping a part 1 on the title card, when most people, I will agree with you, like mainstream wise, didn't know. I read a lot of stuff, so I knew it before, but a lot of people didn't. The only thing worse than that is if they didn't do that. Because if you didn't put it there, this movie ends the way that like Fellowship of the Ring ends, where Frodo and Sam are going to go somewhere, and you're like, well, shit, that's where this ends? And you knew that was a trilogy, and that annoyed people.
Almost exactly like Fellowship.
It did.
There's a fight that kind of means something, because you need a fight that kind of means something. And then at the end, the main character says, well, the adventure's begun.
Yeah.
like Denis Villeneuve. Like that's pretty much it for both of them.
Yeah. So if they hadn't put that there, I would have been more annoyed, because I think that's
and also, or like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it would have made the film materially better if you would have had part 2 coming next summer. Right.
Yeah,
and granted,
that would have. Yeah, I agree.
Blah, 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 pandemic, blah, 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 blah. You had to get your financial ducks in a row. I don't know what's feasible, what's not feasible. But it's like, ideally, if you would have been like part 2 next summer, part 2, 2023, something like that, I feel like that would have made the movie better.
Yeah. Now, remember,
the experience better.
We have a recent historic example of this working well in 2 ways. One, they didn't market it as 2 movies. They marketed it as 1. And then they changed that very last second. And also, I'm talking about Endgame and Infinity War. And they did a really masterful job of it. But the part where you stick the landing is saying, yeah, that next one's less than a year away.
Yeah.
That's how you do that.
There is a finish line in sight.
Yeah, had they not done that, imagine Infinity War the way it ended and if it was now with a question mark about production and nobody knows if it's greenlit.
Oh my God.
What a terrible ending to that movie, because everyone's turned to dust.
It's like, that was a story that was 10 years in the making. Was the most ambitious thing that's ever been done in the history of movies, that had such a broad international audience that was so hungry to see a big resolution to it, that to say it's going to be 2 movies was an excitement. It wasn't like a cash soak in the same way that maybe some of the Harry Potters or stuff like that were. When they split those up. And this is, look, it's a meal. Like you eat around the edges. Like, that is a movie that, for as much ground as they cover, it's a 2.5-hour movie that never feels like it's really going all that slow. You're never far away from a big thing happening. You're never far away from a big scene happening. It really is a remarkable script, considering the fact that Dune, which is not known as one of the more accessible science fiction literary franchises, that is very accessible. That's Game of Thrones accessible. And if the difference between the Game of Thrones books and the Dune books are, there's a lot more stuff to process in the Dune books, in the way that Game of Thrones, while the world building is dense, you always know where the 4 lights are. Sure. You always know where the main characters are.
Right.
That was the most accessible Dune has ever been.
Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah.
It was visually amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it again on a big screen, because I now understand why everybody's like, go to see it on a big screen.
Yeah, I'd love to see it on IMAX.
I do think, and this is not a criticism of the movie per se, but more Denis Villeneuve himself. I think he kind of has a bit of an issue, and Nolan has this too, where everyone's lit well. Everyone's obviously acting really well, but they never really get super charismatic performances out of very charismatic actors. Everyone kind of seems a little reserved.
I think that's both. That's true here and Blade Runner. I think it's different in Sicario. I would argue is different than that, but that's also a very, very, very different movie. That's
a different movie. But I would even say Arrival. Arrival has the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's kind of very wistfully staring at things a lot in his movies.
Yeah, there's just an element of reserve, right?
Sure.
Which is just different than some other directors. But that being said, everybody was amazingly cast.
Yeah, agreed.
I love the fact that Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista are a part of the cast just because they're just two of my favorites.
What's great? What was it, Brian? You said it the other day. You said we could have had a fight between Aquaman, Drax
Thanos,
the Destroyer, Thanos.
Drax,
yeah. There's a lot
and Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of MCU and DCU people in this thing, and which I'm all about. But some people I forgot were in it. Like I was talking about Javier Bardem just showing up. I'm like, oh shit, he's in this. I forgot he's in this.
Yeah.
And, like I loved moments like that in the movie, and they were also kind of, they weren't scene stealing casting. They just felt right. Everybody felt right, and I was skeptical.
It was a star-studded cast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was one of the first times that I was watching a movie with Ashley, who's not super plugged into pop culture, and she was just like, "Oh, Batista." Mm-hmm. Oh, Zendaya. Mm-hmm. Oh, who's that? Thanos. Like
the thing about it was I went into it with these expectations that I didn't know if I was going to like this Timothée Chalamet kid in it. I just didn't know if that was going to do it for me. And I don't know why I thought that or what my deal was. He just seemed like kind of a weirdo emo kid in interviews and just not interesting in a way that I wanted this character to be interesting. And I think he's the best Paul they've ever had. He's very good.
It's enough to make me forget that he effed a peach in Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, that happened.
Years ago.
That was a thing.
That was a thing.
Oh, yeah, come on, man. Get on the internet.
I don't know anything about that. That's the first time hearing of that. That sounds terrible.
Well, you can do that in a double feature with Hustlers.
Watch them both back to back.
Watch them both back to back. A real sexy Saturday night for Scott.
But but back to the original point. Like the movie, the way it ends is 100% have to make a follow-up. If you don't, this is a crime. Like, you can't leave it like that. Like, you can't have them go, all right, off we go. We finally met the girl of my dreams, and now we're going to go ahead. With what? You can't leave us there. We know what if we're reading books, but not everybody's read these books. Like, that would piss me off so bad. And if they take 3 years to do it, that's too long.
Yeah. Oh. It was kind of like when they gave us the promise of
it's not going to happen sooner. That doesn't happen sooner.
Right.
Denis Villeneuve does not direct a movie, that movie sooner. They don't get that cast together sooner. They don't get those effects where they need to get those effects sooner. Like, it is 3 years minimum.
I don't want to wait that long. That's too long.
Then when Chris, like I am.
Remember when we thought we were going to get 3 Daniel Craig, Stieg Larsson adaptations, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and looked like it was going to be a great series from Fincher, and nope, just got the first one, and that's all she wrote.
Well, that one didn't do super well, right?
It didn't. No, and that was that's part of the problem.
This one seems like it did good, and I think that if I'm in those rooms with Warner Brothers and Legendary, I'm saying, look, this did well considering the weird time. I don't know what their payout is with HBO Max and all that, but like, look at this like Batman Begins, because I think Dune Part 2 has Dark Knight potential.
Yeah, and that was 05 to 08. So how many years is that? That's a pretty big chunk. It's not quite the same cliffhanger though, right? Like it's a different kind of thing, but yeah, that's okay. You know what? I'm okay. I'm all right. 3 years, but don't be longer than that. Like if you're going to be 5-6 years,
you know that it's going to be a disaster if it gets announced, but Denis isn't doing it.
He has to do it. he's the reason I was interested in any of this adaptation. Like, he's the reason Blade Runner 2049 is an amazing movie. Like, that guy's vision, he's my filmmaker du jour right now. I love that guy's work. So he has to be that guy. Who else is going to do this?
Well, I mean, it would be because they want it on a schedule that's too fast and he didn't want to do it, or they can't get the money right, or blah, 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 blah.
Well, he should want to do it, is all I'm saying. He should
Well,
get
I
in
mean,
there.
I'm sure he wants to do it, but there's a million miles between wants to do it and is doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That do not have anything to do with whether or not that man would obviously like to finish a Dune trilogy.
Chat room suggesting George Miller take it over. Okay, I'm in. Go for it.
Sure.
I'd be down for that. I would like to see George Miller's take on the second, on the really important middle part of the Dune trilogy, and see what they do with that. But yeah, it really is a hell of a thing. And even if they never do anything with again, there's things in it that I just can't stop thinking about. The scale of everything, the feeling of space and vastness. When they show just a person standing on a flat space with a giant ship on this end of it, or when you see those guild ships in the sky, or like all of that stuff matches what I read when I was 15, and in a way that I didn't quite expect. I thought, well, this will be sort of his vision of everything, but it's kind of mine. Like, it's what I saw, and that alone was enough for me to highly recommend this, despite this weird ending and despite the up in the airness of the sequel and all that. But
no, it's must watch if you like science fiction. It's the most exciting, grand science fiction movie that's come out. Wow, I don't even know what I would put.
I'd say since 2049, which was since Mad Max Fury Road, but that wasn't really science fiction.
But I don't put Mad Max as sci-fi.
No, you shouldn't. It's not. It doesn't belong there. But it kind of just belongs everywhere all the time.
Blade Runner, and even then, look, I liked Blade Runner. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I don't think it was as good as Dune.
I would put...
and I'll tell you why, because it had to carry the corpse of Harrison Ford. Decided to show up to work wearing a Hanes shirt and
Click, we've lost Justin. I don't know what happened, but Discord just disconnected. I'm not sure.
Weird. Okay. Let's just quickly go through that. I was worried about that, but came away happier with how it turned out. And it's the greatest anyone's made the corpse of Harrison Ford look.
Hey, let's wait and see what Indiana Jones 5 looks like.
Yeah. I don't blame him. He obviously doesn't want to do these movies. He doesn't want to do Indiana Jones. He doesn't want to do Star Wars. He doesn't want to do Blade Runner. He just wants to sit home and smoke pot. And people just keep tricking him like a cartoon character out of his little house where he's smoking weed. And they just keep like leaving money and little nugs of Chiba. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll just go this way. Next thing you know, he's on set and he's like, I'm not putting on a shirt. And they're like, fine. Fine, Monsieur Ford. 3, 2, 1. All right, Ryan, act like a robot. And he's like, I wasn't in character. Perfect. Bye. Go.
I'm sorry. Was that your French director Denis Villeneuve's voice that you just did an impression of?
That's me.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do the movies. And look, I think that Blade Runner was great. I thought Ryan Gosling was amazing. I thought that it very capably brought that legacy forward of understanding and exploring what the idea between what makes us human and what makes a replicant, and when is a replicant so much a replicant that they are a human. Like there was great explorations of that. That is its legacy. It's not Dune.
Okay, but it's up there. It's good. I'm putting it.
I just wouldn't.
It also ends, which is nice. It has an ending, so that's maybe I'm giving it.
Movies. It's so endy. It ends both movies, right?
It actually has a damn ending to it, and whereas this new thing doesn't so much. But yeah, like I think he's the next visionary filmmaker until we don't like him anymore, and I'm in while that's the case. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know what he's gonna freaking do. But I complained about how long it's gonna take to make it. Look how long it's taken him to do a Mad Max follow-up. It's like that's still 2 years away, and but that was 5 years. Or I'm sorry,
Mad Max. All right, Mad Max 2.
Yeah,
kind of the second bowl of cereal, isn't it?
I mean, it's the greatest cereal in the world, so maybe.
Exactly, and so of course we want another bowl. But is it gonna be good?
I mean, maybe not, but it's not out yet, so I can't say.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Perfect little movie.
Yeah.
Perfect little Mad Max movie. Now what do? You open it back up?
I don't know. This is a test for George Miller to see if truly he's the greatest filmmaker of all time. We'll find out.
Sequels. He did Babe Pig in the City.
He did. That was a good. It was a good sequel. Actually, he didn't direct
it. I'm not joking. That's not a joke. Babe Pig in the City slaps.
Pig in the City's great. It really is. It's actually very good, and it's exceeded people's expectations. You know what else exceeded people's expectations? That the last thing he did, Mad Max wise, was freaking Thunderdome, and then Fury Road just blows it all out of the water. So he's capable of doing things no one expects. I'm saying it's going to be great. That's what I'm saying. So watch out.
I'm saying second bowl of cereal. It's not that the second bowl of cereal is always bad.
Yeah.
But you always, after that first bite, are like, damn, that first bowl of cereal.
Well, technically, it'd be the fifth bowl of cereal. Mad Max 2 is Road Warrior.
Not in my metaphor. Don't metaphor.
Yeah. The stuff before was like cream of wheat. It's like your parents' cereal. But this is like the real. This is the modern.
I still love Road Warrior. It's up there for me.
Oh, Road Warrior is great.
As high as
I'm not slagging on any of those original movies.
You can slag on Thunderdome.
Yeah, or the first one doesn't hold up.
Say bitey bye Thunderdome.
First one's got problems. I don't love the first one.
Yeah, it does.
But Road Warrior's awesome.
All I'm saying is that movie, new cast. Like it takes it in its own direction, builds out that world how it wants to, and there you go. Well,
there you have it. Well, I think we've had a good discussion. We've pretty much figured out nothing, but we've talked a lot about what we love, and that's what matters here on this segment with Justin. And we avoided politics entirely, so you should probably tell people where they can get some of that content this week or what you have planned.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about two things. The Virginia governor's race, which is the premier contest on Election Day, which, by the way, is next week. So please, if you have not made your plans to vote, go ahead and do it. This Friday, I think we're going to look at some of our favorite props. I'm sure everybody's being deluged with ads on these. There is one. Guys, I want to get your opinion here, based solely on the advertising here in Austin. We've got Prop A. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. So if you're voting for Prop A, you are for protecting libraries, parks, and the city.
Okay.
And if you vote against Prop A, then you are for protecting libraries, parks, and the city.
Interesting.
Well, that doesn't sound confusing at all.
Which way would you go?
Yeah.
I'd both vote both for and against. Can I do that? Can I fill in both dots?
Vote often. That's the American way.
I didn't think. I thought Texas just did things. They didn't let people vote for ideas. They just enacted new ideas. Isn't that what they do down there? They got their own little plan. They just say, "Hey, we're going to change everything." Executive order stuff. Don't they just do that now? I thought that's all they did in Texas now. No.
Is this like, I don't know. Right?
You can smell.
I love that a state as parodyable as Utah, and you never miss an opportunity to take totally unsolicited shots at other states.
No. Listen, they let us vote for things like legalization of marijuana, and then when it shows great support, they figure out a way to have none of that count. So yeah, I'm fully aware that Utah tends to do this as well. Actually, most states do. So I give
I don't
Texas,
even know where the pull in on that is.
Well, it's just because Texas has had a year, man. They've had some stuff.
Yeah, it has a state legislature that does stuff like every other state legislature.
Yeah, now, but not everyone else's state legislature makes national.
Pretty famous,
yeah,
but it wasn't by fiat.
No, but they don't get national news.
And by the way, plenty of other states by fiat. Plenty of other states by governor decree.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no, that happens all the time. My point is that Texas is no shortage
over the last year and a half.
Yeah. Like they've got, the abortion thing. That's a big upfront deal,
So on the way out, as I'm plugging my show, what you just want to do is throw in Texas's abortion legislation. You just want to tag that at the end, apropos of literally nothing.
Yeah, because this way...
As I'm doing a fun bit about props,
look,
you just want to throw totally out of nowhere.
With
Do you
Unfriend Me
remember
Gone.
Texas's
Look.
restrictive abortion laws.
With Unfriend Me
So I'm
Gone.
clear. That's what you want to
Yes.
do right now.
Yes.
As I show up on your show.
Yes.
Every week without pay.
Yes.
And all I want is to plug my things. You just want to throw into my political show that I promote. Remember Texas's highly controversial abortion law. That's what you wanted to do.
Yes. The answer is yes to all your questions and more. Justin Robert Young on Twitter. Politics. Have fun. We'll see you next time. All right. I forgot to.
The jury will now retire.
There it is. I mean, it's a notable. It's still notable. Texas is notable for this year. It's not like it's under the wire. Of course, it's notable. Just like it's notable. What's another one? What's another state doing something crazy? I can't think of one.
I can't either.
See?
South Carolina did
notable.
something, didn't they? I'm sure South Carolina did something.
I'm sure they did, but it wasn't as notable as what Texas did.
It's Texas, no, exactly.
Yeah, Florida, maybe. I don't know. What's up at the South? All right, let's get this. Show on the road here. No, that's it. Actually, that's all we're doing today. That's all you're gonna get.
Yeah,
and that means we have to exit the building, as the Germans say. And to do that, we have to remind folks that they can be supporters of ours on Patreon, patreon.com/TMS. If you do that, you get many benefits. There are many great benefits you can get if you sign up at patreon.com/TMS. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. And I think that's it. Brian, what would you like to do for music at the end of the show here today?
I would like to play a song. This one is going out to, why is this not showing up? Thank you very much. Going out to Vicky Perry. Said, hey, Scotch and Bourbon. I know I'm early for this. She sent it back in April, this request specifically for this week. I know I'm super early for this, but hopefully you can file this for October. I'd like to celebrate my best friend and husband, Rob, who turns 40.
Happy birthday to you!
As soon as I hear birthday, I have to play it. It's just
that's fine. I should just pause. It should be my thing. Oh, do you have one for this? We also celebrate our 13th wedding anniversary on the 24th.
Very.
That's all I had handy.
Good enough. Side note, my birthday's on the 26th.
Oh.
So we usually have a week of celebrating each year. I'd like to request a cover of Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero. That was Bonnie Tyler, by the way. That's what happens when you put a quarter into Bonnie Tyler. She says, Rob, wishing you the absolute best and to many more years of growing nerdier together. Lots of love, signed Vicky. Vicky's up in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada.
Nice. I didn't know they had a Cornwall up there. That's cool.
There's a Cornwall up there. So happy birthday to both of you. Happy anniversary to the two of you as well. And why not? Holding Out for a Hero. I've got lots of versions I've been played on the show before, and I'm really surprised that I haven't played this version. It's cool. It is by a band called Amazing Transparent Man, covering the song by Bonnie Tyler. Here is Holding Out for a Hero.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
You're seeing things, bitch.
Oh. Damn. You're seeing things, bitch.
You're seeing things, bitch.
Bitch. All right.